So yes, thank you for that kind introduction. I'm here to really tell you about some of our work in relation to work with young people, but also what we can do and how we can support youth workers in relation to some of the work that you are doing. And just to give you a wee overview, the Children and Young People Centre for Justice, so we work to ensure in Scotland's approach to children and young people in conflict with the law is rights respecting, contributing to better outcomes for our children, young people and communities. So the focus of our work and our new action plan for 2020 to 25 is really looking at supporting Scotland to comply with its international commitments for children and young people in conflict with the law in relation to the UNCRC. To really focus on children as a distinct group, recognising that their legal status differs from adults, they are not mini adults, and they're in need of specific protection due to their developmental stage. And to really show that what we mean and that children are the heart of all we do, we renamed ourselves so that we are the Children and Young People Centre for Justice. The purpose being that it's for children and young people, rather than specifically being a centre for practitioners and policymakers. Though, of course, our work with practitioners and policymakers influences to improve things for children and young people themselves. So what we do, we're very modest because we say that we produce robust, internationally groundbreaking work, bringing together children and young people's contributions, research evidence, practice wisdom, and a system know-how to operate as a leader for child and youth justice thinking in Scotland and beyond. So we are hosted at the University of Strathclyde and primarily funded by the Scottish Government. So we have got three key work streams. The first I'm going to concentrate on today, which is participation and engagement, and really amplifying the voice of children and young people. We also have practice and policy development, and that is developing, supporting and improving justice for children and young people. And then we've got research team, really improving our understanding of justice for children and young people. And these are all interlinked. So to support you in your role, we have got some services that I thought I would maybe share with you and to see if you as youth workers or within your organisations may need any additional support. So we offer a practitioner support service and we get queries averaging probably about 40 to 50 a month from different practitioners, from policymakers, from social workers, residential staff, and different people working with young people about a whole host of different areas of work, but also some in relation to specific cases and just for advice and support. We have roadshows, events, training, forum and lectures. All of that is free and we're able to adapt them to meet your individual needs. On Tuesday, we opened up a registration for our new postgraduate certificate for children in conflict with the law, and that's going to start in January. We also have a 15-chapter guide to youth justice in Scotland. We have specific staff and work focusing on secure care and restorative justice. We are creating a new service, redesign service to support local authorities and partners to really meet the UNCRC and put the rights of children at the heart of everything they do. We support the Scottish Government's youth justice and age of criminal responsibility strategies, and we are developing and adapting a lot of our resources to make them more accessible using animations and child-friendly language. For any young people you're working with who may be involved in offending or yourself, we've got the Young Person's Journey and the Child's Journey, a guide to the Scottish justice system that young people can use themselves to see if they've committed an offence, what the options are. And we're also in the process of developing a new website, which is specifically for children and young people. But our actual youth groups and some young people you're working with may want to become involved in these. So we have three main groups. We've got Youth Just Us, and this is funded by the Life Changes Trust and is in partnership with our colleagues at Staff, the Scottish Through Care and Aftercare Forum. So this is working with young people aged 16 to 25 with care and or justice experience. And it's really want to improve policy and practice, and they've recently done a lot of work and they've contributed to the Scottish Government's consultation on the UNCRC. They've also got a group in Polmont called Inside Out, and those young people are currently working on looking at what their rights are in custody. We also support a group, STAR, and this is the only curated space in Scotland for young people and young adults with experience of secure care. And I'm going to tell you about some of the great work they have been involved in that has really changed practice across Scotland. Finally, we're part of a partnership project, Inclusion as Prevention. And this is a national lottery funded project in partnership with South Lanarkshire, Action for Children and Dartington Service Design Lab. And this is really focusing on co-production and collaboration, doing tests of change and how we can, the vision is to reduce the potential of young people being involved in future offending, so part of our preventative approach. So why does youth justice matter? This is some of the work our young people done as part of the Youth Justice Group, and really looking about them developing their confidence, having the experience and a true purpose to make a difference. So this is their words that's been designed by Sarah Hammond. So the main focus for us in relation to UNCRC, we look at the general principles that we've discussed today, obviously children's participation being our main one, but also survival and development, the best interests of the child and being non-discriminatory. And there are specific articles that are for children who offend, like Article 40, children's rights and juvenile justice, 39, the right to recovery, and 37, the right not to be punished in a cruel and harmful way. So these are our main articles, but of course we're supporting work across Scotland to meet all articles. We recently published a report which really highlighted that the rights of children in conflict with the law are not taken into account, especially for children who commit the most serious offences. It really feels that they don't have a right. And as you heard earlier from Juliet, as youth workers, you really have a role to look at how we can protect children's rights, and especially those who are involved in offending or have caused harm, because it doesn't feel that their rights are being upheld within Scotland. We produced a report, Rights Respecting Scotland's Approach to Children in Conflict with the Law. And this really says that Scotland would benefit from thinking about children in conflict with the law from the perspective of rights, and making upholding rights the basis of everything we do to them throughout the whole system. And instead of seeing these children as troubled and challenging, that we actually see them as rights holders and rights defenders. We were looking at work that was recently done in Wales and the Welsh Assembly Government. Now this is back in 2014, so they were ahead of the game, and they were saying that children need to be seen as children first, very much our Brandon principles, and offender second, supporting a cultural and attitudinal shift and how children in conflict with the law are considered. And children in the youth justice system have the same rights and entitlement as all other children. And in fact, these children in the youth justice system, most of them have been there on welfare grounds before. These are the same children we're working with that have the same complex needs that we all need to work together to support. And obviously you will know this better than me, that youth work has such an important role in that. And that the voice of the child needs to be actively sought and listened to. So we feel in Scotland that we are now more ahead of the game, and our new Scottish Government vision and strategy is called a rights respecting approach to justice for children and young people. And that's really putting them at the heart. It represents a shared foundation between the Scottish Government and partners to continue to support the agenda to keep children out of formal justice systems, and really looking at the ethos of the whole system approach and starting to treat these children as children with their own rights. But many children in the system, even though those who have been in the system numerous times, when we speak to them, they do not know their rights. And it's really important that as youth workers and as any worker, that you know what children's rights are, so that you are able to support them and tell them about their rights. And that is through every single part of the system they may be involved in, that they have rights and that they should be respected and listened to. Their views should be taken into account, and they should be able to actively participate in any decisions being made about them. But these decisions should also be explained to them in language they understand, And as again, Juliet said this morning, that they have a right to appeal and complain, and it might be that they ask you to help them to do that. And that is really important. So we wanted at CYCJ to actually do what we were telling others to do and lead by example. So we have written, co-produced our own participation strategies. We had 7 young people and 1 member of staff from CYCJ, and we've accepted everything that the young people wanted in our participation strategy. And this is based on Lundy's model, and it really looks at and enforces Article 12 and the right for children to have their view, and that their views are given due weight. And they've got the 4 areas here. So we are committed to generating opportunities for children and young people within CYCJ to really be involved and have that space to share their views. And that's through a variety of different means, being part of projects, blogging, attending events and participating in events with our support and acknowledging that they may need additional support. We're really wanting to seek out the voice of children who are involved in offending and then support them to express their views. They are the experts. They're the experts on the system because they have been through it, and it's important that we acknowledge that and give them the opportunity, so through national and local links, to really have their voice heard. So we will amplify their voice at any opportunity that we can, and really look at our own connections within CYCJ to be influential in getting the voice of children and young people heard. So part of this strategy looks at the principles that underpin it and what we will aim to achieve. So we will ensure that those with experience of the justice system are able to influence and shape the work that we carry out in CYCJ, and that we will pay them for their expertise in this area and the advice that they give us. That they will contribute to the direction that some of our research takes, and that they will benefit themselves from this process. We can't keep asking people to share their experience and expertise without them gaining something from that. So we are offering children and young people work experience within CYCJ, as well as creating opportunities depending on their interests with other partners that we work with. We want to ensure the centre is accessible. We want to make sure young people have the equipment and the technology to engage with us online, but also that we'll move around the country to meet with young people. We're also creating a new website, as I said, so that is being created with young people who want that experience and really taking their views into account and having our documents accessible to them. And we will be trauma responsive in everything we do and behave a way that provides safety and trust and support to anyone that we're working with. And we will be as transparent as we can in all the work that we do. So we're really wanting to create these opportunities and to really lead by example of how we're involving young people and those with the expertise of the system to really listen and learn from them. And we hope that we can share that learning and that understanding with others. So one example I just wanted to touch on was in the work of the young people that we've been working with and those as part of STAR. And they've helped to produce what you see in front of you, the Secure Care Pathway and Standards, which is really changing practice across Scotland for young people prior to, during and after secure care. So this came out of a national project that we ran in CYCJ, and its remit was to explore the strategic governance and operational structures of secure care services in Scotland. So I had conversations with over 60 children and young people and who had experience of secure care. And there was a range of recommendations and calls from action from that. And from that, STAR was created. And the chair of STAR worked with our secure care advisor and different organisations to really, as part of this oversight board, as a co-production team. And standards champions were from each of the 5 secure units were contributed to this. And this is an example of what can really be done when we listen to and work with young people. The materials here and the language used is from young people themselves. And it is really making a difference across Scotland at the moment of the experience that young people are having through their secure care journey. So the incorporation of the UNCRC in Scotland is an opportunity for us all, and youth work has such a great role to play within this. The rights and entitlement-based approach can be seen as the next phase of development from a preventative approach, building on the foundations of the Kilbrandon. And what happens next is really in our collective hands. So if you would like any support, or if you would like any resources that we have, please do look at our website and get in touch with us. And if there's any young people who would like to hear more about the groups that we run and become part of them, we'd be really happy to hear from them too.